Meanwhile, on the left side of the aisle, they're still coming to grips with the fact that President Donald Trump will be re-entering office in January. The panic is palpable among a certain class of people on the left. CNN Bill Weir, who is one of the alarmists with regard to climate change. He's written entire books about how basically he has changed his life and he's not sure he could have babies in this terrible world in which climate change is going to be. So Bill Weir was on CNN claiming basically the earth is going to burn to a crisp because of Donald Trump.
Take a look at this temperature chart, Sarah. This year, 2024, according to Copernicus, the European Space Union, will shatter all records, being the warmest ever. And it's the first year where we've blown past the 1.5 degrees Celsius or 3 degrees Fahrenheit limit of the Paris Climate Accords. Every country in the world says we're going to try to hold the line at 1.5. And now we're here, just as maybe the most notorious climate denier in history takes power once again.
Again, these people, let's be clear. The United States' emissions have been dropping. It is China and India that continue to skyrocket. And no matter how much the United States destroys its own economy on behalf of people like Bill Weir, it ain't going to be enough. The freak out is everywhere. It is everywhere. The New York Times has a hilarious piece today titled, quote, "A sex strike is a losing strategy for American women." So apparently there are a bunch of left-wing women who are now declaring a sex strike, which, I hate to break it to you, ladies, but you might not have had a choice in the matter, depending on exactly who you are anyway. But according to this opinion staff editor for the New York Times, quote, "No dating men, no sex with men, no heterosexual marriage, and no childbirth. These are the 4 principles of South Korea's 4B movement, a radical feminist movement that gained popularity in 2019 in response to sexism, hidden camera pornography, and intimate partner violence. After Donald Trump's victory, some American women have sought out the movement. But it would be a mistake for women in the United States to adopt its principles, which risk alienating those who would be our allies while ensuring little actually changes about our reality. Some American women are already devising plans to apply used menstrual pads to trucks with MAGA stickers and undergo voluntary hysterectomy surgery. TikTok and Instagram reels related to the 4B movement gained millions of views this week. Google searches spiked in the U.S. on Wednesday, most notably in Democratic states. Yeah, good luck with this, ladies. Seriously. Good luck with it. By the way, I have a recommendation. In fact, I hope that people all over the spectrum would take this recommendation. Everyone should go on a sex strike until they get married and then enter a committed relationship and have children. We could call it traditional values. It'd be great. Then you wouldn't be having sex with people who disagree with you about values. You wouldn't be having sex with randos in the first place. It might be awesome. You should try it. Might help society, actually. Or you can continue to pretend that you're acting out Lysistrata or something. Meanwhile, over at the DOJ, they're freaking out, according to Politico. A collective sense of dread. Again, the leftist hears, they're just overflowing here. A collective sense of dread has taken hold at the Department of Justice, which drew Donald Trump's rage like no other part of the federal government during his campaign. By the way, why would that have been? Why did the DOJ draw his rage? Could it have been because they launched 3 cases against him while he was president of the United States, like the former president of the United States? Maybe that would be the reason. I don't know. Just putting it out there. Maybe it's that the DOJ kept targeting him over absolute nonsense with cases that certainly did not meet legal scrutiny. Maybe that's why he was pissed. I don't know. I love it when they declare that Donald Trump just he's like random Hulk. He just randomly goes Hulk on the DOJ. Maybe if you hadn't targeted him over, say, classified documents, maybe if you haven't targeted him over January 6th and all of the rest of it, maybe then he wouldn't be so mad at you. But now he's mad at you and you kind of deserve it. Some career attorneys at DOJ are already considering heading for the exits, rather than sticking around to find out whether threats from Trump and his allies are real or campaign bluster. Those threats range from mass firings of deep state lawyers to expelling special counsel Jack Smith from the country. Everyone I've talked to, mostly lawyers, are losing their minds, said one DOJ attorney. The fear is that career leadership and career employees everywhere are either going to leave or they're going to be driven out. Well, we can always dream. We can always hope. Well, folks, as social unrest escalates and crime rates climb, securing the safety of your family is more crucial than ever. I'm about as pro-Second Amendment as it gets. The thought of using lethal force, not ideal for everybody. That's why you need to check out Burna Ad. Listen, I want my family protected. But also, when you're in your house, if somebody's in your house, are you sure you know exactly what you're doing? Introducing the Burna Ad gun, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight, simple to use. It uses an easy-to-load 5-round magazine. Is powered by an 8-gram CO2 cartridge. Burna launchers fire a 68 caliber chemical-filled projectile using patented pole-pierce technology where the CO2 canister is only punctured on the first trigger pull, meaning your launcher is always at the ready. It's capable of incapacitating an attacker for over 30 minutes. It's accurate and effective at over 60 feet. It requires no permits, no background checks. It's interstate travel friendly. With Burna, you will be prepared to defend. The Burna is a safer, more sensible alternative that could potentially save lives on both sides, protecting both user and aggressor. Thanks to Burna for sponsoring this video. If you haven't yet, go check out last week's episode of Ben After Dark over at Daily Wire Plus, brought to you by our friends over at Burna. Again, go check them out right now. That's BYRNA. So again, it is amazing to watch people freak out. Like, they're basically saying our ability to watchdog the person we work for is going to be hampered if he comes into office. So there's a lot of speculation about who precisely is going to be heading up the DOJ, who will be the Attorney General pick. Remember, this is a Senate-approved position. It is worth noting at this point, by the way, that in the Senate, because Republicans are likely to end with 53 votes in the Senate, there are 3 senators in particular who may not greenlight everything that Trump does in terms of cabinet picks. Right? You do have Susan Collins up in Maine, you do have Lisa Murkowski out in Alaska, and you still have Senator Mitt Romney in Utah. That takes the Republican majority down to 50. So all you have to do is peel off one more, and suddenly Trump doesn't have the votes to necessarily confirm his nominees. So, this is a major issue, and it does depend who Trump nominates. With all of that said, do I think that Donald Trump is going to select somebody for AG who's going to, expel Jack Smith from the country? No, I really don't. All of this hysteria is so overwrought. It really is. And we got a lot of this pre-election. People saying, well, no, that now that Donald Trump has alienated all of his former staff and colleagues, it'll only be the dregs who will staff up. That's not what I'm seeing. Tom Homan doesn't look like the dregs to me. Neither does Elise Stefanik. In fact, the vast majority of people who are being mentioned for the Trump administration look like pretty good folks to me, actually. Meanwhile, the other aspect of hysteria is denial. It's fun to watch Democrats just deny what's going on all around them. Nancy Pelosi is still blaming Joe Biden. Of course she's blaming Joe Biden for Kamala Harris's loss. She can't blame herself. She's the one who ousted Joe Biden in favor of Kamala Harris, who then proceeded to lose to Donald Trump. Here's Nancy Pelosi over the weekend.
The fact is, she did a great job with the time constraint that she had. Had the president gotten out sooner, there may have been other candidates in the race. Kamala, I think, still would have won, but she may have been stronger, having taken her case to the public sooner.
Should there have been an open primary, though?
Well, see, we thought that there would be. The anticipation was that if the president were to step aside, that there would be an open primary. And as I say, Kamala I think she would have done well in that and been stronger going forward. But we don't know that. That didn't happen. We live with what happened. And because the president endorsed Kamala Harris immediately, that really made it almost impossible to have a primary at that time.
I love this. So Pelosi is not just blaming Biden for not leaving soon enough. She's now blaming Biden for endorsing Kamala Harris, which is something large swaths of the Democratic Party upper echelon wanted, because it meant that the Democratic Party snapped into place with $1 billion behind her, and then she proceeded to blow it. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.